What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I am Lady Nika in with last night's mid-season finale of If Loving You Is Wrong. It's entitled Rusty Brand of Justice. Child, I must say, Tyler, you pulled it out. You pulled it together. I mean, the 11th hour, but you did pull it together. You did, however, probably piss off a whole lot of peoples, but you educated everybody on the realness of how racism works, and that is very much alive and well today in this country. Got a lot of people around here think just like Virginia and old Rusty. Trust and believe, especially in these parts down here in the South. So, let's go ahead on and jump right on into it, because it wasn't a whole lot, but then again, it was a whole lot, and it was good. I enjoyed it. I can't wait for the rest of the other half of the season. To my love thing, Miss Ann, what happens now is, Miss Ann, this is a mid-season finale. He's going to pick this back up right after Have and Have Nots go into the new season that they're starting. When they get ready to go for their mid-season break, this will come back on. If you think about it, that's how he rotates his shows, because if you're not, I don't know if you watch the commercials or not, but Have and Have Nots are coming back in January, and Too Close to Home, for those of us who do like that show and review it, it'll be back in December, okay? So it ain't over but you won't know what the outcome of all of this is until next year after Have and Have Nots. He not gonna run them together. He might get maybe 1 or 2 weeks of them together, but it's gonna be when Have and Have Nots is getting ready to end. So that's when we get to Temptation Tuesday, and you have If Loving You Is Wrong and Have and Have Nots come on back to back. You get there for like maybe 1 or 2 weeks, and then the Have and Have Nots will go off, and then it will really get back into this If Loving You Is Wrong. That's how they go. But this was pretty good. I don't really do too much tweetings and shit, but I was on their Facebook, and I was going in and letting have, because this shit was touching and agreeing, because it was some truths that he told. Like I said, he did piss off some people, but he gave us a real look into how even in 2016 we got people who actually still think like this. Now, we started back off at Rusty in Virginia place. Randall down there begging for his life and the life of his son. Well, Randall get knocked out yet again by a shovel. But see, this time it wasn't like it was last time. He don't stay gone that long. He come right back. And he again begins to beg for the life of his son, to the point where he's offering to pay them to let him go. Now, Rusty say, boy, you ain't got no money. He asked Randall what it is that you do for a living. Randall explained that he's a psychiatrist or doctor. And it was at that moment I felt like I had stepped into a time warp. Because Rusty say, oh, Rusty, you big old bag of unnecessary shit, baby. You racist piece of shit. He gonna tell the man, you ain't no doctor. Ain't no colored folks, no doctors. What? Rusty said the only way colors get money is if you steal it or you're selling drugs. And he called him a drug dealing rapist. What? Well, at that point, he done pulled out a gun, and he yelling for Virginia to come on out the house. And per usual, she runs her ass out there, but she got polar Brad in her arms. You know, she put that baby on that cold ass ground. Now, Randall is begging her to have some form of compassion, because that's her baby. But she says she don't care nothing about that little bastard. See, they don't never address him as a baby. He a little bastard. She said Rusty wouldn't even allow her to touch the little thing on the ride to their place. And so they placed the baby on the floorboard of the truck all the way to their house. Ain't that some old bullshit? She calling the baby bastard, saying that she don't care about him or Randall, and she tell Randall that he shouldn't have raped her daughter. Now, child, that blonde bimbo slut of a daughter of yours was willingly carrying her ass to that shed time and time again for that Godiva chocolate bar. She went so far as to disrespect her own pink meat ass husband to get to that damn shed time and time again. You cannot rape the will in Virginia, and you know he didn't rape her. You know he did not rape her. Virginia say that Randall raped her, and he told her he ain't raped her. She said, "Oh, I know, but you better not let Rooster hear that." Now, Randall, that's what you get. That's what you get. I'm trying hard, y'all. The reason why y'all catching these pauses is because I'm trying not to go where I want to go with this, because I try to be fair, and, you know, I don't want to just be all out here in my emotions and talk on this shit. But in truth, like I said, Randall, you still living in the land of Oz at this point, talking about he and Alex ain't do nothing wrong and they in love. Virginia said, "Love, boy, she don't love you, because if she did, she wouldn't have came down here and told us good Christian gentle folks to help her, because you was threatening to take the little bastard baby from her. Why else do you think we came and got your ass? We good folks. We don't bother a soul." And I'm sitting here thinking, good Christian people. Child, you must be practicing that religion that the slave masters used back in the day. You know, that white Jesus that they presented to us as slaves, and tried to make us believe that God was all for what they were doing, which is enslaving us, making us do things, you know, work for no pay, beating us, raping us, mistreating us. See, that must be the God that she serves, because I don't know the God that says that beating a person, lynching a person, raping a person, working a person to they damn backs just fall apart. They just fall apart as people. I don't understand what kind of God that they serve that did, you know, that okayed this. But you know, back in the slavery days, if you go back in your history, that is the God that they tried to introduce to us, and many of us took to that God and still worship that today. But learn your religion and learn your history. Understand that God ain't about nothing that's going to cause dissension among his people, because he don't know black and white. He don't see that. He ain't got no respect to person. We are all the same in his eyesight. But unfortunately, we still live in a society today where people like Virginia and Rusty live. And being that we have now elected this court jester as the next president of our United States, you got a lot of people that then came from behind these backwood, peckerwood thinking ass people, and they coming out now. That's the reason why we receiving, you know, so much racial tension now in the United States, because Donald Trump's being elected into the White House have given all the majority, if not all, of the racist white people the I guess you could say the balls or the chutzpah to come out the closet and reveal to us how much of a nigga they think we are, and how much more superior that they feel that they are opposed to us. And that is also why you are seeing a whole onset of nigger knots and Trump lumps. Shout out to Dredge Kelly. But that's the reason why they receiving it. Harold and Becky is going to work on Monday totally fucked up, because they still think that, well, they think now that Trump is in office that they can say and treat and do whatever it is that they want to do against minorities. But I have to tell you, it's a cold day in hell before that's going to come to fruition. It's not going to be like it was in the 40s, 50s, and 60s where you kept trying to hold us down and we just marched. No, baby, we're living in a generation of people right now that will die for anything. Don't let them find a cause to die for. Like I said, you know, I don't see a good ending to this, and it may end in a possible revolution, and it's sad that we got to get to that point. But then again, that's the only way it's going to be, because you got a lot of us still slaves in the mind. So we think that we still seek validation every day from these people who will never see you as equal. We don't have the wherewithal to go ahead and invest in our own selves and in our own mindsets and build for ourselves. We're still looking for validation in 2016 from a race of people that just ain't never gonna see you this way. And what Tyler Perry did to last night was show us, for those of you who ain't woke, wake the fuck up. Wake up. Child. Anyway, I'm trying not to go on no tangent. Randall now knows Alex did this to him. And that's what y'all asses gonna get. All of y'all that think that running over there to that blue-eyed blonde devil gonna be your motherfucking salvation. It may actually be your demise. Don't get in my comments with that bullshit, because I ain't trying to hear that. Because for every successful interracial couple that you can tell me about, I can tell you about a boy that went to jail because a girl cried wolf after she asked for what he gave her. So we're not gonna go there. Not on this review. Okay, back it on up. It was at that moment that Randall began to understand what really was going on. And it was also at that moment that he realized he was going to have to use his spidey senses and all of that education that he has. And he looked at Virginia and he said, how did you end up with somebody like Rusty? She talking about, what you mean, boy? He said, you seem smarter, like you had dreams, more of like a city girl. He said, you settled for Rusty. Why? Was it your mom? No. It was your dad, wasn't it? And you could tell that he had actually read her soul, because she gonna ask him how did he know, and accuse him of being a witch. Not just a regular witch, but a black witch. Randall say, no, I ain't no witch. I just went to school for this, and I know by people. I'm a psychiatrist. Again, I'm a doctor. He said, look, why don't you take some money for all of this? Just let me pay you off. Let me pay you on off so I can get my child and we can get on up out of here. She said, how much you got? He said he got $100,000. And that's when she jumped defensive, talking about, you trying to say we need it? Yes, bitch, you are needed. Look at this little house on the prairie. But you with a little house in the woods. Child. He told her to take that and have a better life. But she, she got that shit rusted and put in her head that, and he done instilled in her so hard. She gets to telling him about taking him and the little bastard down the alligator alley, and that's going to be the end of them. I said, child, please. Now, let's pause here on racist, Hicktown, Racetown, USA, and let's go back to Maxine. Let's go back to Maxine. Let me talk about something else. Now, the 911 operator finally done came and told Stevens that Andrew had actually called in and left a message for him. He needs some backup. He tell her to get him on the radio. Well, she say, well, he out of range. So he said, hit him up on his cell phone, which, of course, he does not answer. Stephen started standing there looking a little worried and concerned. So the 911 lady say, don't worry, an officer already been dispatched. Well, officers already headed out there to back him up. And Stephen said, who? And she said, Edward. Baby, when she said Edward, you could tell he had that, oh, shit look on his damn face. Child, he told her, get Eddie on that phone, but his phone is going straight to voicemail. So he worried as hell, because he know Eddie ain't right. He winds up getting on a phone call with Lucian, telling him that Eddie done went down there to back up Andrew, and they on Highway 31 headed toward Alex's parents' house. Lucian asked, so Alex Montgomery is with Andrew? He said, yeah. So Lucian said, look, it's time to call the FBI in on this. We got more than enough evidence to take this department on down. But see, we find out that taking the department down was not the primary goal of the FBI infiltrating the Maxine Police Department. The actual goal was to get at the Escada family and bring down the cartel. And Stevens don't really want to blow that cover right now, but Lucian is thinking more lucid than he is, because he telling him Eddie can't be allowed to keep hurting and killing folk. We got more than enough evidence. Now let's shut them down. And he ordered Stevens to get on that phone with headquarters and head on over to Alex's parents' house and keep him informed, because he can't come. He's still down at that hospital, and handle that right now. So Steven has no choice but to do that. Now let's parlay on over to Alex's house, because we got Marcy and Kelly still there. Now Kelly, she is pacing the floors, damn near about to rub a hole in the good carpet, because she's stressed out. Marcy, she just fucking tired. She looking all crazy and shit, but she asking Kelly, what's wrong with you? Kelly trying to say she just worried about, Alex and the baby and Randall. And she gonna say, well, I know you worried about Randall too. Marcy like, yeah, I'm worried about it, but nothing we can do about it. We gotta just wait it out. And so she started asking Kelly, what's really going on? Why you so fidgety and stuff? Kelly ain't want to deal with that question. She tried to flip that shit on Marcy, talking about, are you sure you okay? Marcy said, girl, I'm fine. I'm just tired. She ain't finna tell you she pregnant, honey. Not yet. Kelly finally sit her nervous ass down for walking a hole in the woman's carpet. And she sitting there talking about, are you sure? The girl say she fine. Leave the girl alone. She gonna tell her, well, you'll tell me eventually. Marcy said, ain't nothing for me to tell you, but I noticed that more wrong with you than what you're telling me. What's going on? And that's when we had to use the mind of Marcy to get Kelly's mind right, because Kelly was over there acting like a dumbass bimbo. She finally tells her, look, Travis been acting a bit erratic. Marcy was like, how so? Well, he was in my house tonight. He had climbed through the window, and he just been a little weird, but I don't really want to, make too big of a deal out of it, because I may have brought this on myself. Marcy had to tell that fool, girl, get on the phone and call the motherfucking police, because this man done climbed through your window. He harassing you. He harassing you. And she still was hesitant to do it, but she did finally make that phone call. And Lucian is now back in the bed, back in the hospital room where Joey laying in that bed is. And Natalie hear that phone started going off, and she know he got a job to do. Look, on and answer your phone at the very least. It's got to be important. It keeps ringing. After some coaxing that she had to do, he finally answers the phone. And I guess Lucian is the only police officer in Maxine that's on the up and up, because everybody bypasses 911 and call him. She called him and she lets him know what's going on. And she's still trying to say that maybe it's not as bad as he thinks. He's like, Kelly, look, the man has violated you. He done broken your house. And then before he got off the phone with her, she told the man what he had said about Ramsey being gone forever. She asked Lucian had he heard from Ramsey. Now remember, Lucian just bought this house from him. He said no, he hadn't heard from him. She tell him what Travis said, so he tell her, look, I'm going to send Rick over there to take your statement and to go in my house and check and make sure that nothing is, strange, or Ramsey not in there laid out or whatever the hell. So she get off the phone with him. They get off the phone. He do his part. She is still, now she back on that good carpet again, pacing the good carpet. Marcy like, fuck it, I'm finna lay down. Ain't nothing I can do about it. But as she laying down, she happened to notice Travis sitting on her damn, on Kelly porch and tell, yeah, what he doing? So, now he's sitting on your damn porch. Okay? So, but the police on the way, handle that accordingly, okay? Handle that accordingly. Well, let's go and get them people out the way. Rick show up, fine ass. If you didn't notice, I noticed that he was flirting with, he was kind of like liking Kelly a little bit, looking her up and down, looking at that chocolatey goodness and stuff. And she explaining her situation. But she's still trying to say she thinks she's making too big of a deal of it. He said, ma'am, if he broke in through your son's window, you're not making too big of a deal out of this. He said, and she told him about, the going over to, well, it's Lucian's house now, but going over to the house to check. Now, he said he gonna go over there and check, and he also gonna write the report out for Travis stalking, and if she see him again, let him know. Call him. Now, he's getting ready to go over to Lucian house to check in there to make sure everything is okay. Kelly want to know, can she go? He tell her, no, it might be a little dangerous. I don't know what I may encounter, so you stay right here. In fact, he told her to go in the house, but she begged to be able to stay outside on the porch, and that's what she did. Child, he go in that house, next thing we know, he coming out. He ordering her ass back up in the house, but he getting on the phone saying that he needs some assistance over there. So we don't know if he was found dead, bound, gagged, or what's going on. But I don't think it's a good outcome for old Ramsey over there. Something to happen. Now, let's go back. Let's go back to Hickwood, USA. Now, they still fooling around with that boat, okay? They still fooling around with that boat. And Rusty trying to flex, kicking all on Randall and shit, talking about he gonna get his just deserves and all of that. When the police pull up. But it's not really the police, it's Alex. You remember she took the car. So she got Andrew car. She done showed up at her parents' house and she's begging for her child's release. She trying to get her baby so hard. She really, and I don't think she was trying to really just like say that Randall raped her, but she trying to get her child. She over there slapping on Randall and kicking him and shit. So Rusty say, well, let me see if you about that life for real. He give her a pistol and say, if you sorry and you want my forgiveness, shoot him. She can't bring herself to do it. He said, I knew you ain't had that. You got a little of me in you, but you ain't got enough of me in you. At that moment, here come police again. This time, it's Eddie. Eddie talking about he wants to have the honor of fucking Randall up because he slept with his best friend's woman, that being Alex, okay? Child, this is where things took a turn for the worse, in my opinion, because we actually saw them gather some rope, put it around this man's neck, and begin to hang him from this tree. They actually had him up in the air when the police and FBI bombarded their property. It was a shootout. Eddie played like he always do. He gonna act like he was there as an officer of the law to help, when in actuality he was a part of this so-called lynch mob that was about to go on. He had already shot the boat. You know, they was having problems getting the boat unanchored from the damn from its anchor. Eddie done shot that loose so the boat is able to get out in the water, but they gonna hang him before they take him to Alligator Alley and feed his body and his child's body to the alligators. They had him up in the air. As I said, FBI and local police did, you know, they did come on the scene, and it was a shootout. Folks got shot. I don't think that Rusty was killed, but he was shot. Virginia was able to wrestle with Alex and get the baby away from her. Now, we see Alex just laying in the dirt. We wondering what the hell going on. When all of the firing of the guns have stopped and Lucian has now gotten on board, he's there because Natalie had sent him away. She told him to go take care of the business. It ain't been no change in Joy, so go and take care of what you need to take care of. Just come back. So he's out there as well now. Child, once they get the firing of the guns and the people done got shot, they done be able to cut Poe Randall down before he lose his life. We look out there in the muddy waters of the swamp, and Virginia has made her way to the boat and is out in the middle of the lake, and she is holding this baby by his legs, saying to Alex, you see what kind of problems you done brought to my house, you little bitch. This bastard is going to die. At the same time she is saying that, there is a police officer, FBI agent, standing right next to Lucian with a clear shot. Lucian tells him to take that shot. I don't know if we heard a shot or the screen just went white. All I know is it ended right there. We hear a pop, and I don't know if she dropped that baby in that water or not, child. And that was the season finale of If Loving You Is Wrong. It won't come back until next year. But I am really wanting to know, because it's some storylines that need to be completed. We got to find out, first of all, where's Claudia? Then we need to know what happened to Ramsey. And then we want to know, did that baby get put in that water? Did that dirty bitch drop that baby in that lake in that swampy ass water. So Tyler, you got some work to do, and I hope that you get up with your writing team, and if you need some new writers, then you need to get you some and make this come full circle for us, because it's sad we spent a whole season on one night. We didn't get to the next day to the finale episode. So I'm hoping that when we come back that we do find out exactly what went down with Ramsey. Is he okay? I hope we find out what happened to Claudia, and I hope that Joey survives. If I left anything out, feel free to put it down there in that panic section. As some of you can tell, this kind of, the end of that shit really fucked with me. It really did. But I'm gonna come through, because this is a part of my job, and I do enjoy doing this for you all. So I hope that I was able to give you as thorough a review as I possibly can. And I will see you guys back here in a couple of hours. I'm about to get ready to go watch the season finale of Queen Sugar. And since I'm up, I might as well just stay the hell on up and do Queen Sugar. So I'll be back with that tonight. And after then, we'll talk about it on that video. In the meantime, in between time, please like, comment, subscribe. Please share this video on any of your social media platforms. And I will see you guys back in a few hours for the finale of Queen Sugar. Peace. This has been If Loving You Is Wrong. Ciao. Whew. What a world, what a world. What a motherfucking world.